There's a rumor that hiring family members can save you on taxes. Is that legitimate or is that a risky move?
Absolutely, it's not risky. There's a few rules. Employing staff and employing family is no different as long as they have a role in the business and it's at market rate. What you cannot do is put mum, dad, Sally, the dog on a payroll scheme and they're not doing anything. Emails, admin, social media, packaging, uh, anything that actually supports the business and they're paid at a market rate, absolutely. I'm a massive fan of the family unit. It's how you can utilize the thresholds, keep as much of that cash as possible, and it stays in the family.
How young can you have one of your kids working in your business?
So there are different rules for the ages, but 13 part time, 16 more hours, but there's a threshold of 13, 16 goes up to full time.
Okay, so you can have a 13-year-old on
Yeah,
on
there are
your business.
specific rules, and it depends on. It cannot affect their schooling hours, and it can affect their life, but it needs to be legitimate too. So there needs to be a record of something they're doing. So if you were taking a photo shoot, and say you were selling kids clothing, rather than getting a child in to wear the clothing, you could pay your family.
Yeah. Or if, like, for example, my 15-year-old daughter,
Hmm.
she was doing some of my social media for me,
Absolutely.
looking
And
at
they are better than we are because they've got a finger on the pulse of everything that's changing within the social media world. So it makes a lot of sense.
mate, they're born with an iPad in their
Yeah,
hand.
I know.
You know what I mean? That's just normal to them. That's just like, putting their underpants on. Do you know what I mean? It's just so normal. There's something massive happening in the markets right now. So at the time of filming, this is December 2024, and we are currently in a bull run cycle of the crypto space. So we got cryptocurrency, you got the big daddy Bitcoin, you've got Donald Trump singing and dancing all about it. You've got the guy who invented, is it the Shiba coin? Elon Musk starting to work with the US government. And right now, I think if you are invested in crypto, you would have seen your crypto portfolios pumping right now. Bitcoin has just shyly missed 100,000, but they're tipping it to go to 115, 120, and it's like the new digital gold. But along with this, obviously comes taxes, capital gains tax. And being that crypto is such a new space, a lot of people are a little bit confused about what are we gonna do in terms of, like, do we sell? Is it the normal capital gains threshold? Is there a clever way to do this? Some people are talking about, hey, you've got a portfolio worth a lot of money, go to the bank, get a loan against it so it's tax free. Um, can you shed some light on some of the cryptocurrency space, on people who are going to be making, profits in excess of like 20, 30, 40,000 pounds? What is the tax-free amount, and how that all works?
There's a few things to consider. Most people who invest in cryptocurrency are doing it in their personal name, so they would pay capital gains tax.
Right.
If it were in a company, which can be done, it'd be taxed under corporation tax. Labour have just had the budget, and it wasn't as bad as everybody thought, but it was still pretty bad. They've £40 billion worth of taxes are being collected, and part of that is they've increased capital gains tax. So it was at a 10% and a 20%. Now it's at a 18 and 24%. Lots of people anticipated this and they were selling lots of their personal assets, such as cryptocurrency, to crystallize those gains before that event. There's not too much you can do due to the numbers the gain they've made. So you can sell £3,000 worth of a personal asset tax free per year. It was 6,000, and before that it was 12,000 and above. They do not want you disposing of this and not paying tax anymore. There's a massive uncertainty with HMRC about cryptocurrency because it's so new. It's so easy to transfer between coins, between wallets. It's not going through the banks. There's massive uncertainty. They are doing their best to work out who has what and when they have sold. And something that is key is the taxation point. It is not when you sell your cryptocurrency portfolio and get the cash. It is actually when you switch between coins. So if you have Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, if you make a trade between XRP, which is doing very well right now, and Bitcoin, that's a taxable event. But it's behind closed doors, because usually if you sell something, either you give me cash or I transfer you money. There's Coinbase, Binance, lots of these platforms. Nobody really knows what's going on. They're hoping people are as honest as possible. But human nature, there's greed. People don't understand the tax system. People don't know they have to file a self-assessment if they have a PAYE job and they've purchased some cryptocurrency, which was the new thing. And all of a sudden, they have a tax liability that they're unaware of. So there's lots of uncertainty. A slow way to release cryptocurrency is selling a small amount per year. But due to the volatility of cryptocurrency and the emotion involved, are people going to wait 12 months for the next £3,000 they can sell? Their portfolio may have halved, it may have tripled. It's an emotional thing.
What about when their portfolio goes up or down? So in the bear run, as
Mm-hmm.
they call it, so that's when everything hits the floor and, it's not, you have booms and busts in cycles. So during the bust sort of stage, your portfolio might have been at 20 or 30 grand and now it's hitting, but that was in last tax year, but now it's like 100,000, 120,000. Is there anything that you could have done, or only when you switch the coin and realized that loss?
Something that's very key is if you have made a loss, and not on paper, I mean you've sold the coin and you've taken a loss, if you do not register that loss within 4 years, you cannot carry it forward. And what that means is if you have a £10,000 loss, the same as a limited company account, and you make £10,000 the next year, your taxable net figure is zero because you've lost 10,000 and you've made 10,000. With capital gains, you need to report it on your self-assessment. This does two things. It lets HMRC know you have cryptocurrency, and it also registers the loss. So if you have a capital gain in the future, you can offset the loss with the gain. We see lots of that. We see lots of people emailing saying, 4 years ago I had this, can you please make sure it's on the self-assessment, because they've waited until the last minute.
Wow. Wow. And with this cryptocurrency, like with Binance, crypto.com, Qcoin, how closely do they work with like HMRC?
There's lots of rumors about this. HMRC, there was a Coinbase and HMRC. I don't know if I'd call it a collaboration, but they said they were releasing the information to HMRC, and the rumor was that Coinbase actually had a tax liability, and that was part of the negotiation. Nobody really knows. You have anti-money laundering things in place for all of these companies, so they have to get your passport, your proof of address, confirm the bank account. So if they were to collaborate with HMRC, then they have all of the information if you've made all of your transactions on that platform. The best thing to do is to be honest, because you can say that you didn't know about it, but if you haven't prepared to pay the tax, in 3-4 years' time, if they say you have a massive tax bill, it could really disrupt things.
Is that the worst thing that can happen? Sorry, can you just pull your mic a little bit more forward? Yeah. Is that the worst thing that can happen, John? Like, you've just got this bill to pay.
If it was an honest mistake, it's at the discretion of HMRC. If it was an honest mistake and you had no idea, then lots of the time there's no penalty. If it is apparent that you knew what you should have done and you have deliberately disguised something, then yeah, there could be penalties.
So what is the definition of that?
The definition of that is, it's hard to define. It's hard to define. You would have to have an obvious case where they could say you've filed this every 3 years, and this year when you made some money you didn't. Why? And you'd have to have a good story.
Hope you're listening, my crypto people at home. I've got this wicked crypto group. Yeah, we've been like almost like family for 5 years.
Yeah.
When you get added and then you've always got the funny guy, the serious guy, the one who puts the meme jokes in,
Mm-hmm.
the one who's the data analyst and going, we're going to break out.